I'd like to introduce Adam Boyne, co-founder at BetaJester, who is one of our alumni and is going to tell us a bit about his experience.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing all right. So yeah, as introduced, my name is Adam Clewes-Boyne. I was on the accelerator last year. So kind of had the West Yorkshire centric one, and I run the studio BetaJester. So we've been going now for almost 8 years, doing a combination of working our own games and doing work for hire as well. You may have also seen me around as doing things like the Game Dev London podcast and now Playing Attention as well. So I've wanted to take a minute today to just chat about our experiences with the with Indielab last year, particularly for those who are sort of if you're already sold on the values of Indielab, and I think absolutely you should be, then hopefully you hear this and go, yes, this validates what I thought. But if not, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the value that we got out of being a part of the program last year, to hopefully kind of give you an idea of what it's actually like to be a studio on this program. If you've done accelerators before, if you've been a part of programs that have happened in the past, you know that some programs can be very, here's some people, here they're talking at you and they are done. You sit there for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is, and then you walk away and you go, did I learn stuff from that? The way that Indielab kind of sets up, the way it's much more directed at bringing you into the program and making sure that you're taking things from it in a very direct way, was very different to a lot of the programs that I've been on before. And that ranged from not only having engaging speakers, but also having them talk about things in a more personal way. Everyone can kind of sit and listen to a lecture from someone talking about the stuff they've done in the past, but often it was we had interview style things. We had stories from studios who had been through whether it was fantastic success, but also hardship. People coming in for perspectives that were adjacent to the games industry to give you a more of a business sense of how it is to be a studio, not just here's an indie success story. Why don't you do that? Which we really appreciated. Having been around for a little while, being able to get more of those kind of business angle perspectives and learn more about the practicalities and framework of running a studio was massively appreciated. But then also a lot of them, like I said, a lot of them were interviews. We had, you had experts talking to experts, asking deeper questions, encouraging us to ask questions and find out more about, how we could resonate things back to our experience, to how we'd approach games and see where we might be on the right path or might be on the wrong path, things that we could change. This all helps us to kind of catch out areas where, maybe not we were doing things that were going to do us wrong, but maybe where we could speed up or where we could become more efficient or where we could approach things in a slightly different way to get more done. And again, it's something that we hadn't really seen in a lot of other accelerators that we really appreciated. And the other side of it, we're kind of looking at the exercises, were things like ways of getting us to think about our studio and our work and how we tackled things that we may not have considered before. And this ranged from exercises that kind of, I am by trade a programmer and kind of I guess business development sort of person, but getting me to think more around, okay, well, how are the people on your team approaching the game like this? How does your team think about this? Put you in the shoes of the other people in your team, help you to kind of see the whole round experience, because it's the important thing, especially for going on the Indielab accelerators, is that we're not just people making games. We're not just it's the game and that's it there, or if it works, it works. It doesn't. We're studios. We're people who want to create something that's going to last. We want to create stability. We want to create not only for ourselves, but for people who hopefully either we have hired or we want to hire, a long-lasting career that allows them to, with us, hopefully form not the games and software or assets or whatever it might be to support the industry for many years to come. And from my perspective, a huge part of Indielab was thinking as widely as it was deeply about the games industry as an industry, as a business, as a framework, not just the game side of it. That being said, also got to talk about a lot of games, and there were some fantastic sessions around exploring how we make games, how some people have done fantastic titles, how they came up with it, whether it was a long thought about idea that came up over years, or whether one day they looked out at the garden and were like, hey, I should make blocks that I can dig. It wasn't Minecraft, but you see the point. Games can come from anywhere, and getting an idea of the grand scale of that kind of thing is really useful not only because it helps you to understand ways that you can approach these things, but also because it puts it in perspective. It's very easy to see those who have been successful as almighty or doing something radically different, but actually to understand that their starting points may not be that different to where you're starting now, and that it is possible, with grit and determination, as well as luck and opportunity, there are paths to becoming successful that we can all take on. And certainly for me, coming out of kind of the accelerator last year and all the opportunities I got, put us in a perspective where not only as a business did we, we had a really good year last year, and a lot of that, I put a lot of that to the learnings and teachings we took away from the kind of accelerator, but also in building up a base and a network that I continuously am able to connect to and talk to and work with and gain opportunities from. So yeah, so from my perspective, it's basically a no-brainer. But certainly, if you've been on other accelerators, if you're umming and ahhing around whether this one's going to bring you the value to help you kind of move your business forwards, from my perspective, it's been one of the best accelerators that I did. I learned a huge amount. It did things that other accelerators didn't do, and I absolutely think it's a worthwhile accelerator doing kind of at whatever stage you're at, whether it's kind of just sort of building up that base level of understanding, or if you've been around and established for a little while and you want to see where you can push on from, it's going to be worthwhile for you.